So I haven't played around with my drone a whole lot, but that's me right there at my brother's property. He just bought this house late last year, and I wanted to do aerial shots with the drone, and that's one of the reasons I bought the drone, is so I can get aerial videos and aerial photography. And what I did here is took the drone up about 350 feet and I took a picture of his property, and this is what I came up with. Now, after a little bit of editing, I took out the cars and cleaned up the color a little bit. This is the end result. Today I'm going to make a picture frame for this. First thing I needed to do is cut down a piece of 1/2-inch plywood to length and width, and then I put a chamfer on both front and back because I printed the picture out on a canvas, and I'm going to glue the canvas to this board. I used this acrylic matte medium. I found instructions for this on Jon Peters' channel, and I'll put a link to that description and below. So I put this acrylic matte medium on the board, let it dry, and then sanded it smooth. When I was ready to put it on the canvas, I flipped the picture over, and I already have a line dedicated for where that board's going to go. Put the acrylic matte medium on the back side of the canvas as well, and then a second coat of it on the wood, and then I bonded the two together, putting the wood right there on the line that I made earlier. Then I carefully cut around the corners so I can roll the canvas around the edges. Once I got it around the edges, I just placed a little bit of masking tape to hold it while the acrylic matte medium sets up. I come back later and actually use Gorilla Tape on this just so I can have a black finish, and that'll make more sense when this gets all done, why I needed that black finish. This is the stock for the first frame that I have to build. This frame goes on the back of the picture, cut down to 1 inch thick, and then I cut them all to length at the crosscut sled. Pre-drilled and countersink 3 holes in each one of these, and then put a quick coat of black paint on them. This frame will get built around the back side of the picture frame, 3/4 inches away from the edge. Used a framing square to keep everything square and positioned correctly, and then put glue and screws to hold this on. I was very careful choosing the screws so I didn't poke through the board and into the picture. So I got the picture mounted to the board, the first frame mounted to the back of that board, and now I'm creating this Shadowbox frame, and I need to position the picture just right so I can cut out the center section of this 1/4 inch plywood. So I just trace away that frame and then cut away the excess material in the middle of this 1/4 inch plywood. Now I need to create that second frame to create the shadow box effect that I want. I'm cutting these down to 1 3/4 inches, and then I'm putting a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch rabbet in each one of them. Cutting the miters on each one of them to create the frame. And then I'm going to glue and pin nail the corners, making sure everything's square, tighten up the clamps, checking for square again, and then of course make sure the panel fits, and everything's looking pretty good. Now that the frame's had time to dry, I'm going to glue that center panel in, using plenty of glue and plenty of pin nails to hold this in. This 1/4 inch piece of plywood has a bit of bow to it, and I want to make sure I can get that out of there, and it worked out fine. Just used plenty of glue, plenty of pin nails. Now you can kind of see what I'm going for with the picture in there. Now off camera I put a chamfer on the inside of this frame and the outside of the frame, and I'm cleaning up the inside with this chisel. Quick coat of black spray paint And then we can get on to the LEDs for this frame. So that 3/4 inch space from the interior frame on the back of the picture was for LED lights. Unfortunately, I lost most of my LED footage, but you get the idea. I'm putting LED lights right there. So I got all the LEDs situated, and I'm just putting the final touches on. Putting my label on with branding iron. And I need to situate this internal frame on the external frame. So I put some double-sided tape on the frame and measured the opening to get it centered. Once I got it all centered, I flipped it over, pre-drilled a few holes, and added some screws. And then on that internal frame, I just trimmed it all out so I could have a neat look on the back. Not that it's necessarily important, it just makes it look a little better. Now, I didn't want any wires hanging from the ceiling, so I chose a battery pack to power the LEDs, and I'm just making a little bracket to hold the battery pack. And this particular LED set has a remote control. There's a little IR sensor at the bottom, and that's me controlling the LEDs, different colors, different speed, or whatever you want. Alright, the project is done. It turned out fantastic. I love the way it looks. The LEDs, I'll leave a link in the description below. I got those from Amazon, along with the battery pack. I'll put a link in the description below for that as well. But I really like the way this turned out. The IR remote sensor is right down here at the bottom. You can barely see it. And on the back, everything is contained within that cavity right there. Has a little battery holder right here and all the wires. And they can simply just hang it right here off this lip. Put a couple screws in the wall and hang it just like that. So very simple, very easy to hang, easy to take down to recharge that battery pack, or of course you could plug it into a wall and leave it plugged in all the time if you want. That'll wrap up this project. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you next time.